busy morning. My internet is messing up. I got my kids popping up. I'm trying to share this video, but I've noticed that, and I heard that on a TV show. It was I can't remember what show it was, but they really do. They really use the weak to humiliate the strong. They use the weak to get out their talking points. They use the weak to spread propaganda. They use the weak to get into their feelings and to unleash all this anger that they pretty much tap into to ones that have been treated so bad, bullied, have low self-esteem, ones that greedy, would do anything for some money. All weak. The ones that are scared that the truth is going to come out, they bribe them. So this is what we're dealing with. And like I had brought up earlier today about this one video by on YouTube by YTYT talking about Trump. This was the headline. This was the headline. Trump's extreme hatred of Black people is on full display. He got this from Woodward book. Do we really need that? Do we really need a constant reminder of how much Trump hates Black people? And you know what? We sit up there and we keep talking about it. Why? Why we can't talk about positive? Avant. Why we can't concentrate more on good things, positive things that is happening? Why do we have to constantly talk about how much Black people are hated? And I mean, I talks about it too. And it's a learned behavior. We have been doing it for so long that it just comes naturally, it seems like. Hi. Hello. Lappy Films? Is that what that says? You look amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That makes my day. You know, we need to treat each other much better and be happy for one another. You know, because I tell my kids and I tell other people, I'm happy for you. Why can't I be happy for you? You know, we in it to win it. You know, we have to remember the stuff that, some of the stuff that Kamala said. You know, when we fight, we win. We have to start fighting to win. Oh, thank you. You always look pretty. That's so cute. You know, we, and I'm sure you do too. And I feel like all the stuff that's going on, we strong people, we have to show our strength. Yes, we do. We have to show that we are strong as individuals, and collectively, we can blast all that hate out of the universe. Because it's going to take a lot of love. And you know what's really, they like, have you ever seen the the Wizard of Oz. All that Wicked Witch had, he put the water. When water got on that Wicked Witch, she just melted and was gone forever. And that's what we need to do. That water is love. Stop playing their games. All we do is talk about Trump and his lackeys. And let the government do the government. And that YouTube, we constantly bombarded with, oh, this happened, this. If you want to get into politics, go to school, run, and get into politics and get these people that are useless out of office. That's what we're going to have to do. Because I remember a time where, and maybe it wasn't a good thing, I didn't pay attention to politics. Never give up. You're right. You are right. We can't give up. Why are we going to give up? We were wonderfully made. And even though this is the world we live in now, it don't have to be like that forever. So, and when you hear people always talking about Trump hate black people, that shouldn't even be talked about among us. Because we have enough love among ourselves. So, fly. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Martin Luther King Jr. Yes. And I was saying this morning that we need a black leader that we all can look up to, listen to, and we could all get on the same page. Because we're all over the place. We need a collective thought, a collective goal. And I heard Roland Martin talking about the boycott at Target is doing good. They're losing a lot of money. They don't care about that money. We got bigger fish to fry. Lily, say hi. I'm a kid. You know what? We need more kids to listen to what's going on because, see, they're not going to be kids forever, okay? They're going to grow up. What kind of world are they going to be living in when they grow up? But little babies that's born today, what kind of world are they going to have? The bus boycott, thanks to Rosa Parks. Yes, she did help initiate that boycott. But I'm gonna tell you now, I'm boycotting is good, protesting is good, but if you don't have, like the talking points now, if you don't have the cards, if you can't back it up, it don't mean nothing. I'm a teen. Okay, black, hi teens. You know what? Keep listening to intellectual talking points and keep going to the library, keep reading good intelligent books because you are under attack. They are attacking our children. They are attacking our children. Believe me, they want our kids back in the fields. But we ain't gonna let that happen. But see, in the meantime, it's gonna be a lot of hurt and pain in the meantime. You see what's going on now. how terrible of a person you have to be to spend all that money to get into government, to take away money from people that need it. That's what we're dealing with. Why are we letting these evil entities govern us? Because it's a learned behavior. We learned it from the movies, the schools, and even in our home. Because when I grew up, I didn't have no, we didn't have no black pictures. And we sure didn't have too many black movies and black shows to look at. We wasn't educated on our history. And now these kids are going to be growing up with history that is so diluted and so far from the truth. What's going to happen to our children? I wish we wasn't so weak and so naive to actually listen to this stuff and believe it. Just like there in Florida, they was talking about how down in Florida, the education system, they are teaching our black kids that slavery was beneficial. Are they really believing that? And why? How did that even come about? What is the black people down there doing? The schools won't let the real truth, but why? Because for one thing, they don't want the truth to come out. Because they are scared little immature imbeciles. And it's money in racism. Yes, it is. That's why they didn't let the slaves learn how to read. Because the less you know, the less a threat you're going to be to them. Because if you don't know how to get somewhere, you're most likely not going to try to get there. And we sit up there and continually begging the white people to like us, begging to get into their schools and their workplace. And this is where we at. Now we being attacked for DEI. We're not DEI. We're not DEI. We go look for a job. We put in an application because we want the job. We don't want the job because we're black. But this been happening ever since it was the downtown. If you see a black person in an office, you're going to assume that they was hired because they didn't want to look racist. Or the federal government said, you got to start hiring black people. They want to keep it simple. It's nothing simple about education. Because education, you have to do research. You have to take tests. You have to learn how to interact with other people. And you got to know how to answer questions. And you have to know how to do your job. And the main thing is for you to be able to do your job with no prejudice. Because that is wrong. And that's the only thing about it. It's just wrong. Because some of these black kids don't know that back in 1913, around that time and before and after, Black people literally died because they was not able to go to the hospital. They wouldn't even, they went to school to be a doctor. But the law said you can't treat black people. They have to go to a black hospital. Where's a black hospital? 20 miles away. You have to pass 5 hospitals to get to a black hospital. You're dead. Why they don't want our young ones to know that? Because they're weak, immature imbeciles. Why are you trying to hide the truth? Why are you trying to hide what this country was built on? They kept the truth from us. We didn't know. We celebrated Thanksgiving and all that stuff, not knowing how bad they treated the Indians. They didn't want us to know that because they want to keep that persona of being so good, even though they is the worst human beings on the planet. And they always talking about how much black people is hated. They the ones that are hated worldwide the most because they have treated people so bad. And of course, black people have too, because, you had, and Indians, they used to fight among each other, but they weren't setting out to go and conquer people's lands, take people's lands and kill them like the Europeans did, and still is. So we got to stop being weak. And we need to raise up some warriors of change. And because it's needed. We need to counterattack these they always talk about gangs. What? Terrorists. We got so many terrorist groups in here in the United States, but we don't talk about that. We're talking about Trump said something stupid today. Big deal. So what? Trump ain't in my backyard trying to kill my kids or rape my wife or husband. Yeah. We need to talk more about what's going on. Because when I realize that it is, let me see. This is according to, this is a group that you need to get involved with too. There is 595 hate groups in the United States. There is 835 anti-government groups. And it's amazing. The government is treating black people worse than anything. But it's the white people that are against the government. Why is that? Why we don't have a show where we can, this is what something that black people need. We need a place that we can go and get tough questions and tough answers. Because we need to know this so we can tell our kids, because they have to grow up and they are going to be in this world longer than we are. These extremist ideologies, the hate groups, anti-immigrants, when this country is built by immigrants. Everybody over here is immigrants besides the Indians. This is how they got us acting real stupid and weak-minded, because we don't want to understand that. All of us are immigrants besides the Indians who was over here for thousands of years. We have the anti-LGBTQ. And mostly all these people, a lot of them can't even look at these people as humans. Anti-Muslim. Why they hate the Muslims so much? Well, Christians been hating Muslims and Muslim hating Christians for thousands of years. Anti-Semitic. When a lot of people don't talk about it. Why do the Christians love the Jews so much when the Jews don't even believe Jesus is who he was? They don't even believe Jesus has came yet. Jews are the ones that killed Jesus. It's so strange. Christian identity is an anti-Semitic racist theology that rose to a position of commanding influence on the races right in the 1980s. Oh boy. And just general hate. Hate music. They have hate music now. It's called Nazi rock. Remember, when you go past those cemeteries with the white markers, they died fighting Nazism and communists and all that stuff. And here it is right here in this country. They died for nothing. Just like the rest of the wars, they died for nothing. Because you still have the same stuff that they died for. It's just a bunch of dead people. And a lot of rich people who sold them the weapons. That's all it is. The Ku Klux Klan is still here. It has a long history of violence. And it's the oldest and most famous, the Ku Klux Klan. And it's so scary. You have all these people that hate, but you don't know who they are. Sometimes they're hard to, it's hard to see who they are. They might be your doctor, your lawyer, your teacher, the police that comes to your door or stop you on the road. Excuse me. Might be your kid's doctor. Because I still say they are doing something to our black boys that make them so violent and so ADHD. We'll never know. Because the Tuskegee experiment, we don't know what they're doing to us. And see, they are teaching their white kids from infancy up about black people and how you should treat them. I have been to towns that it was 99% white. That's why you don't see too many black people on TV. But do we have to contribute? How many advertisements do you see from black people? None, zero, zip. And that's the only way you're going to get on TV. You got to pay to get on TV. So when you see black people advertising, an advertisement is usually from a white company trying to get black people to buy their product. So I'm just going to say let's show our strength, not our weakness. I seen this. I'm gonna end with this. I seen this one YouTuber. I wish I could. I cut it off. Sometimes I just don't even want to hear the crap. Um, he put a video up about these white people in front of Michelle Obama's portrait, giving her the finger. It was like it was women and men doing it, and I'm like, why is you spreading this? I mean, we don't need to be constantly reminded that these people not just hate, they are scared. And I'm going to tell you another thing why you don't see too many strong black characters on TV. Because these white men don't want their white women looking at these men, fiending, dreaming about these black men. They're jealous. Because I didn't know this growing up. But the white race came from black people. Over the years, they mutated, just like you see black people having albinos and having kids that look white with blonde hair and all this stuff. And then over years, when they kept mingling and having kids, they got whiter and whiter and whiter. So really, we just have to just try to understand that it's not their fault. And we can't let them ever diminish our shine, our light. And it's going to take black people to get back in power to make this world a better place again. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.